I guess we'll start with the intro. Hi, I'm Zach. I'm an alcohol. No, but yeah. So we're now doing the recording. We're now doing the intro stuff. I'm Zach. I am the one that brought these two people together to join me for this. From my left to right, there's Randy in his Mario jacket. And do you want to go by Rax or Rachel?
It doesn't really matter. I guess we can say Rex for right now because that's what fans call me.
Okay. I realize we're kind of R squared if we're not at the very least R cubed, because I go by Runga online, and we got Randy, and we got Rax. So even if I introduce myself as Zach, it's still R squared,
That's fantastic. I love
right?
that. I
R and
love
R and
that.
R.
Right?
I like R
R,
cubed too.
R
I'm not
cubed?
gonna lie. I'm not gonna
I'll just
lie.
start introducing myself as
You
Runga
know
for this.
wombats poop cubes, right? I learned that today. I
Yes!
I learned that, and that is something that I didn't know prior.
They have an entire specialized digestive tract to poop cubes, and the reason is the reason biologists think they evolved that is because it stops the poop from moving, so it makes it harder to track them and less likely to pollute areas they don't want it polluted.
That is fantastic. So what you're telling me is that I just need to evolve my digestive tract to poop cubes so people leave me alone.
I think you'll have some problems with your plumbing in your house because I don't think it's designed for hard square shits.
Not yet. Not yet,
Not
but you know, we
You
we
get one
can
of those
evolve.
Japanese toilets that's just like you squat over a hole and it goes into a septic tank.
Oh yeah, and you could have like actually that reminds me one time we're just completely going off the rails here whatever. We're shaking it all out. We're shaking it all out cuz
That's
whenever
what
you
this is
first
going to
start
be.
recording is you shake out all the nerves, right? When I last went to Italy, I went to this wonderful restaurant, right? And it was like some of the best food I ever had. I was in Rome somewhere, and I went to go use the restroom and went into the stall, and I was looking kind of under the stall and I didn't really see anything, so I was a little confused. And when I get in the stall, it's just two handles and a hole in the in the floor. And I had to like this was back in 2019, so it's been quite a while since I've been to Europe, which side note bring us to Europe. But I had to I grabbed onto the handles and like had to hang my ass over this hole and do my business. And I remember telling my mother, and I was like half drunk whenever I did it too, because I'm in Italy. Why wouldn't I be half drunk on wine? And I remember telling my mother, as I got sat back at the table, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta go see this." And she comes back and she's like, "Why?" I'm so, she's like crying and being ethnocentric. Although at that point I think it's more like just being a fish out of water, maybe not being ethnocentric, but that did happen. So just be warned, if you ever go to Italy, you might have to hold on to handles and shit in a hole.
My question is, like, first of all, was it a big hole?
Well, it was a sizable hole. It wasn't like
So
a
you didn't have to
small
aim.
hole. Yeah,
You,
no. But like, yeah, because like I don't. It's not like I'm just holding like a shiwi or something, and I just bring it with me places, right? I'm not planning on aiming, but I did have to like, this is the women's restroom. I did have to like hang my ass over this like, sizable hole and just hope that things are going to be okay. And I'm drunk and I'm like slipping, and it was a whole big deal.
oh,
It was a
a
great time.
whole big deal. I love the fact that you said your mom was just crying, because I can just imagine her going to her therapist days later. It's like, I just don't get it. Why don't they have toilets? It doesn't make sense.
It's Europe has all kinds of as far as culture is concerned, we are very different, obviously, here in the United States. And so,
Mhm.
nothing quite like the culture shock of wherever place we're at. And it's a beautiful, wonderful restaurant. I do want to say that. I want to make sure that that's clear, that it was a gorgeous restaurant. The food was fantastic. The service was fantastic. I mean, there was nothing bad about it. It was just different. It was just different to find a hole in the floor. And we were like, But I just had the best seafood meal of my life, and now I'm trying to piss in a hole. Like, what is going on? With handles on the side, and I'm slipping.
That kind of reminds me of and this is like it's based on something that existed. There's the anime manga JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and one of the parts for it, there's a whole scene where they in the third season chapter, whatever part, whatever you want to call it, they go around the world and they have a weird emphasis on the different toilets as they go through. And one of them, like for instance, if in one of like the countries that's just a big desert, it's just like a little area where you just poop outside because it's all sanitary because of the heat. It just kills everything. So you just poop in a little area outside. But then when they were in India, there was a section like that you're talking about with the hole and the handles and all that. But it's because at the bottom of it, and this was a real thing, because I was just googling it because you were talking about it. Uh, there was toilet pigs, and when you
What?
pooped, when you pooped, the poop went to pigs that were underneath the toilets, and that's how they got rid of their waste. I'm not kidding.
Hold
If
on.
you look up GOAN pig toilets, Goan pig toilets, it was an actual thing.
Okay, I'm
I'm
looking this up
wait.
right now.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm looking up pig toilet. That is a pig toilet is a simple type of dry toilet consisting of an outhouse mounted over a pigsty with a shooter hole connecting the two. The pigs consume the feces of the users of the toilet as well as other food. The pigs raised on human excrement are subsequently used as human victuals, which can raise health concerns.
I love that you looked up the actual definition and I just looked up photos.
I
shouldn't have.
So I think that can easily segue into a bit of self-introduction. I'm Runga. I am a biology major and a military veteran that does streaming. Raxx.
Hi, my name is Raxx. A lot of people call me Raxx. My name is Rachel Raxx Quinn. I am a heavy metal singer for the band Grave Shadow, a streamer, a content creator. I kind of tour the country and apparently talk about toilets with that are just a hole on the internet.
You do have Buttspot.
I do. Well, I mean, most streamers have Buttspot because Buttspot's great. Although Buttspot disappeared. Did I tell you that? Buttspot disappeared. No. I don't know what happened. I need to actually look into that. But Buttspot has been basically kidnapped from my chat, and we have had no more fun, which makes me really, really, really sad. I think I probably just messed something up, but I would like to issue a reward that reward would be all of my gratitude for the safe return of Buttspot. Buttspot needs its family.
As of 06/26/24, Twitch has prevented IRC bot accounts from joining more than 100 channels simultaneously.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't even know what that was before, so that's interesting.
Pretty.
Hey, and I'm Randy. I go by Himbo Randy online for like a Twitch name, but I don't really have a big social media following. I'm mostly just a friend of Zach who pops in occasionally on his streams. Stream very, very rarely, and I have a career in IT, just doing different general tier 2, tier 3 IT work for different government agencies. That's about it for me.
Okay.
For my introduction.
There you go. I think we have a good dynamic here too, because Randy is the king of tangents and the king of research. So the number of times I've had like just said something or said I'm interested in something, I was like, I'm going to look into this, and the next thing I know, I get like an entire dissertation, like a PhD level dissertation on that topic within almost no amount of time, within absolutely no time. Usually, Randy, it's pretty quick. And Rachel and me are both just kind of chaos. We're both.
That's probably pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what do I have in I was labeled, my own community had labeled me something. What did they label me? Heavy metal chaos maiden. That's what they called me. I don't know how cool it is whenever I've literally built a brand off of saying the most unhinged things that I can say on the internet, and people watch me for it. I've told you before that I always think it's kind of funny how whenever we all kind of link up and we do streams together and we're talking, we'll get on this like a chaos tangent, and we'll lose 6 to 7 viewers like that. We go, oh yeah, that was a good one, we just lost a bunch of viewers.
That's just calling the chaff. That's the filter. If you can't make it through that, you don't need to be a part of it.
That's true. That's definitely true. This is a little bit more subdued than what we usually do, though, so I'll give that to us.
Yeah, I've seen some, because most of your shorts and most of your TikTok stuff is just like insane. It's just what?
Yeah.
It's so chaotic.
And I've, funny that you mentioned that. I've actually had to start getting rid of a lot of the shorts and the reels and the things that I do, because I'm very free in the way that I speak. So, there's a lot of curse words in there. And the subject matter is a little bit more adult. And so I have found that certain social media platforms, and I'm not going to say which ones, have been shadow banning me and distinctly limiting my reach to my audience, and they don't get to see anything that I'm posting because I made a joke about cube turds or something.
Yeah.
So
conversely, I'm doing pretty well on that one, because we've talked about this, that you get shadow banned a lot, but I get shadow banned on the other one that banned me from streaming live there at one point for seemingly no reason, because I play a lot of games and stuff, and I'll like our like combat games or fighting games or something like that, and I'll say something like there's a clip of me somewhere saying you're an alien, talking about playing Starfield, and shit like that would just get me banned on there all the time.
Yeah.
So I've given up posting there. I don't post there anymore because it's just not worth it.
Yeah, actually I just posted there yesterday, and I was laughing really hard because I had found, I'm in the Baldur's Gate 3 fandom, I'm really into it, and I found this account, and it was just so specific. It was called Gail's Nip Liquor.
What? What?
That was my reaction too. I was like, oh, that account just came right up on my For You page called Gail's Nip Liquor. And I made a video, and I basically said, oh my God, this For You page is getting really specific. Look at this account. It's called Gail's Nip Liquor. And I got shadow banned again for saying nip. Or nip liquor.
Oh God, it's
I don't
so
even
Hey, to be fair, from what I've heard, apparently the Gale fandom goes crazy. So, like, I'm sure there's all sorts of way out there pages and all that. So, I'm just saying.
I am a Gale person. I am. It definitely tracks. I'm a Gale person. I'm a Halcyon person, and I'm a Karlach person. And just the Baldur's Gate 3 fandom is just perpetually horny, and that's just the way that it is. So like, it didn't surprise me that much, but what surprised me was the fact that I got shadow banned for saying nip liquor.
What was that post you made the other day? Like, I think on Facebook, that was like, there's no way they put like the vampire Dom Daddy or whatever and whatever into the same game. There's no way.
I love this game so much, but I think it's just kind of insane that we have like Muscle Mommy, and we have Oak Daddy, and we have the Rizzard all in the same game. And then I also get the comfort of my sassy gay best friend who's a vampire telling me how much of a idiot I am all the time. And that is a video game that fills my heart with glee and with love. And it is the best thing ever.
And not only that, but on top of all those characters you mentioned, they also decided, hey, let's nickname Shadowheart to be Shart. It all goes back to poop in this episode.
And with the Shart thing, apparently, you know, because it's right for the taking, right? Shadowheart, Shart, just put those two things together. Apparently, Shadowheart's voice actress loves the name, wants the name to stick around, and has done streams playing Baldur's Gate 3 that she calls Shardy parties.
I've seen clips of her, I think it's her girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure the relation, was playing, and broke up with Shadowheart right next to the voice actress, her partner right next to her. I said, shit, all this amount of shit that came from that was pretty funny to see.
It's real bad. Oh no, no, honey, you can't do that.
Was it? I don't actually know about her personal life. Was it like a girlfriend or wife, or was it her Lae'zel's voice actor? Because
It
I
was not it was
think they've
not Lae'zel's
streamed.
voice actor. It was her, because I think I remembered a little bit about some behind the scenes stuff where I think Shadowheart ended up meeting their partner through the creation of the game, and it was definitely
Oh,
the girlfriend or wife, and not Lae'zel's voice actress.
you
Because I
know,
follow both of them on TikTok. I know the differences between.
gotcha. Yeah, you know, and it's something to note too that like that doesn't surprise me that she might have a female partner because Shadowheart, at least in my mind as one of them, they're gays, is very, very, very sapphically portrayed.
There's
um,
an entire article about Jennifer English growing up queer, but then there's a whole Game Radar article about suffering the ultimate betrayal as her partner declares love for the half elf's arch nemesis. they, they made an
oh,
article about this.
did she declare love for Lae'zel? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I have not seen this. I feel like that needs to be a little rabbit hole I fall into today, as if I don't have enough work to do. But
Hold on, I'll share the article with you. Give me a second. There you go.
It's
Uh,
also interesting you speak on that because too about the whole, um, not being surprised or finding out the orientation or the identity of the voice actress. Because also when you think about Karlach, for instance, Karlach's voice actress said when she was reading all of her like romance lines, she did it with the intention of speaking to a woman, and yet that's still also like hit every single guy who wants like a muscle mommy type thing
nothing
latched
wrong with a
on to
muscle
that.
mommy.
So
There's nothing wrong with a muscle mommy. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm not here saying that all women that are bodybuilders and are muscular are gay, because that's decidedly not the case. However, Karlach, in my mind, is decidedly a more masculine lesbian. Or I wouldn't even consider masculine. She's just muscular. She's just a muscular lesbian.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting how it's hotly debated within the fandom, right? Because all of these characters are canonically pansexual, so it doesn't really matter. You can romance whoever you want to romance and have a great time doing it. But I do think that it's interesting how if you kind of pay attention to what the voice actors are saying, and you also just really listen to the delivery of the lines and the delivery of the character, it kind of lends one way or the other.
Hmm.
In some cases, in my opinion. I mean, everybody has their own opinions. I mean, there are people on the internet that will debate us for hours until they're blue in the face that well, no, actually Shadowheart's portrayal is this. She's straight,
Yeah.
or she's portrayed as bisexual, or she's portrayed as asexual. So you really find whatever you want, I guess, in the game, but I do find that interesting.
but
I,
speaking
I
on
think.
that too, sorry, Zach.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think that a lot of the what people encounter and experience and everything like that is largely up to their own interpretation.
Hmm.
But to be so boldly latching onto it as this is truth and then going online and just arguing with a bunch of people online, being like, no, you are wrong, my interpretation is the right way, and just being like a staunch toxic dick about it,
Hmm.
that's just It's just a
Well,
very interesting part of society, I guess.
I think it comes down a lot to like almost wish fulfillment of because there was a controversy a while back when Billie Eilish, the singer, started dating a man because she had previously done a music video that was her with a whole bunch of women having a pillow party, and people called it queer baiting because they and I think what that amounted down to, they said she was queer baiting by having that music video and then dated a man almost immediately afterwards. And I think what that came out down to was a lot of people wanted her to be. They wanted her to be some sort of gay icon or bi icon. Uh, and then she started dating a man, and they felt like it was a betrayal. But then
Mm.
she came out recently as like, no, I've always been bisexual. I just didn't think I had to announce it.
Right, and that is something that I because queer baiting is a topic that is incredibly nuanced for sure.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it speaks to the larger issue of bi erasure and
Yeah,
pan erasure. And speaking as somebody who is a bisexual person who is in a long term male partnership with a partnership with a man, and so it's very heteronormative, right? Um, sometimes, or I say a lot of times, I don't feel like I'm queer enough.
yeah. I
But I'm
I've known a
still
lot of people say that.
very gay. I'm still incredibly gay, and
Just
that
watch you play BG3.
oh.
Just watch that, and you'll know.
I mean, I'm in my office right now and I'm looking right above me and I have naked Halcyon artwork and I have naked Carlac artwork right here. And if that doesn't say that I'm bisexual, I don't know what does.
I've known a lot of people that have actually said that the concept of bi erasure in the community. I'm a straight man, and as far as I know, Randy is too, and you don't have to say otherwise if you're not. Um, what I'm listen, if you are, that's perfectly fine, but that's not my place to ask. Um, but I've had most of, and this actually comes to an interesting realization I had not too long ago. Pretty much every partner I've ever had has been bisexual and has preferred women, and it, and that made me come to a realization about myself. Like, what is it about me that my partners have all been bisexual, leaning towards women, and then want to date me? But I've had that conversation so many times where a lot of times they're like, yeah, it's so weird being bisexual and being in a straight relationship because people are like, oh, you're not really. Oh, it was just a phase. Then then that was just going for attention or whatever. It's like no, it's like you're allowed to be attracted to whatever the hell you want, and within reason, uh, and
Yeah,
uh, and still be bisexual or still be pansexual.
I think that if we're talking about women who are bisexual women that prefer women, that's a lot of bisexual women I've met are like that,
Mm.
and myself included. But I will say, if we are to speak to that just a little bit and to kind of piggyback off of that, um, we end up in partnerships with men because it's easier to end
Mm.
up in a partnership with a man. Um, it's easier to meet men. And oftentimes, and this is the sad truth, oftentimes it's oh, there's your girlfriend.
She wanted to see if I wanted a beer.
Oh, that's
Actually,
sweet.
yes, yes, I love you. Thank you.
And oftentimes it's safer
Mm.
for us to be in a long-term partnership with a man, because we don't face the rampant homophobia on a regular basis, even if we are more attracted to women.
Yeah, I can see that, and it leans back to something I kind of say a lot when talking about discussions like that, because my brother is very much someone that is incapable of understanding other people's perspective on life. And I've had this conversation with partners in the past, and we'll get to that when I introduce my topic on it. Actually, um, of it is impossible for anyone to even begin to say that they understand a lived experience that is not their own. So it's impossible for Randy or I to understand what your lived experience is as a woman. We can have so many women in our life and talk to them all about it, and we could try to sympathize with it, but we will never truly be able to empathize with it because it is not our lived experience. We are both men that look masculine and are treated as men that look masculine, and because of that, the way we interact with society and interact with the world is different. And same thing with women; they have a different way of interacting with society. That comes with on both sides. Where for men, unfortunately, the drawback to you know being less likely maybe to be harassed or predated upon is the emotional side of it. We are told from I don't know about you, Randy, but from a very early age, like I was very much don't cry or I'll give you something to cry about. That was kind of the mentality going on. It took a very long time for me to actually discuss my emotions on any level with a partner. In fact, the very first partner I had that actually saw me cry, not like tear up and walk away and go do something else, but the very first partner I had that actually saw me cry was my most recent ex that I started dating when I was 28, and I had been in a lot of relationships, and up until that point, I never felt okay crying in front of a partner or discussing things that made me sad. Um, and that's a lived experience that is not necessarily shared on the other side as much, but I've also never been told when you're leaving a store at night, put your keys between your knuckles. That was never a problem for me. That was never a thing that I had to worry about on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, not being a man, I can't, like you said, I can sympathize, but I can't fully understand.
Yeah.
But I do think toxic masculinity is a huge problem.
Hmm.
I think that men not having an outlet and a lot of emphasis on their mental health is a huge crisis and a problem, and it's something that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be talked about, and it needs to continue to be talked about, because it's a multifaceted issue that I don't think is going to be resolved anytime soon.
Oh, absolutely not. And
I,
it's oh, go on.
I was
Sorry.
just about to say I probably uh bring attention to it in a bad way. And the reason I say that is because when someone doesn't know how to handle a situation, sometimes, especially lately, I've been making a probably a joke in poor taste, which is yeah, just sprinkle some toxic masculinity on it, and knowing that being like, hey, this is really bad behavior, do not do this, but also like kind of bringing attention to it, like probably because I'm saying this is a toxic thing, maybe do something better than this suggestion. But
Yeah.
Do you, do
it's
you
just something
think
I've been
that
doing lately.
do you think that trivializing toxic masculinity and minimizing it, do you think that that helps to curb bad behavior because you're minimizing its impact?
Hmm. I think that I'm probably not the best person to have a serious discussion about it. Um, I recognize that there are traits that are awful that are perpetuated within people that are identify as men and all that. Uh, but by me, I think what I'm doing is that I'm trying to do what I can to show off like, hey, I'm aware that this is an awful behavior by making a joke about it. It's not necessarily that I'm trying to trivialize it. I'm just trying to bring attention to it of like in the way that I can by saying like don't do this necessarily.
I
Find a
guess,
better way.
maybe trivialize was the incorrect wordage. I guess what I mean by that is you're not allowing it to have any power. You're saying, "Hey, this behavior is wrong. Hey, I'm going to make a joke about it because I'm not going to take you seriously whenever you're exhibiting this behavior." Is that kind of your approach?
I suppose so. But then again, I mean, I even say it to I even say it to like people who don't identify as men and all that. Like people could just be like, I'm having a you know I'm having really bad cramps today, and I'm just like, oh, ever consider putting sprinkling some toxic masculinity on it and just put your
I
shoulders up and
see.
dealing with it. Like,
I see.
I think it's honestly a kind of good way as long as it's used in the right context because there are times when it will just be counterproductive because by making a joke of it there is no defense against that. There is no defense that someone could logically offer forward and be like, no, this behavior is okay. because all they're doing is proving you right. Now,
Yeah.
if it's got to be if there was like if you saw someone legitimately breaking down and crying, like have you considered being toxic masculinity?
Oh
That's
no,
in
I
poor
would never
taste
in that
because that's
situation.
just like wow, you're not trivializing the concept of toxic masculinity. You're trivializing their feelings. But if you're trivializing toxic masculinity in a way that takes power away from it, then that is there's no way someone could rightfully defend that sort of behavior because they are making themselves the joke, and no one wants to make themselves the joke.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um, and I've had toxic masculinity used against me in the opposite way too, but I think I will save that for when we start discussing the mental health conversation.
Yeah,
Uh,
we've been just kind of going
yeah,
on about random shit, and we are 32 minutes in.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the
So
first
I think
episode.
our intro video is just going to be us kind of talking and people getting a vibe for what we're like. I think
We're
that's
great.
fine.
We're great. We're fine. We can go from square poop to shitting in a
Yeah,
hole
To
I,
to
pigs. Pigs and
yeah, because
holes.
I'm going to be introducing the first conversation, which is going to be super serious, and then at some
Risky.
point, Randy's going to be introducing his just make in crazy accusations about us and us having to improv it away. Those are going to be two completely different vibes, and I'm here for it.
you know what? I think all within all of us exists two different wolves.
how how dare you? How dare you, Rachel?
That's one of my favorite memes. Is there are two wolves inside you? One is gay. The other is gay. You are gay. Like,
Oh my god, that's so funny. I love the wolf memes. They're hilarious. It's one of my favorite parts of the internet because anytime I see like a wolf design slapped on like a piece of clothing or a meme, I don't take it seriously anymore. It's hilarious.
Oh. So my cat that me and my beautiful girlfriend adopted together. This is completely not related at all. Has not been allowed me near her at all since she after the surgery after she got her surgery to get her leg removed. I was the one that took care of her, but that also means I was the one that had to like hold her down and shove medicine down her throat. So after that, she's been like, "No, I'm not letting her near me." But she is currently rolling around in my Crocs, which is very sweet. Which is what my old cat used to do is sleep on my slippers.
I will say, I will say that being clear with that k sound really helped you there because at first I heard, yeah, she's just rolling around in my crotch.
I might
And
take I might take that part out of the recording. I might edit that out just to yeah. Um.
I heard the
Oh
same
god.
thing. To be fair.
Yeah.
I'll just let's just here. Let's hear
I'm
them
gonna
out.
listen, Rachel. You're a vocal coach. You need to teach me to enunciate.
Diction, the what is it? What is Jack Black saying? School of Rock, the tip of the tongue and the teeth and the lips.
Tip of the
That's
tongue
what
and the
he's
teeth and lips.
yeah,
Yeah.
tip of the tongue and the teeth and the lips. Yeah, which so anyway, I yeah, come on over, let's do it.
Yeah. Do you want to get ready and do the first topic intro?
Sure.